What's going on, guys? Wi-Fi1225 here, and today we're going to be doing my review of Battlefield Hardline. So this is a game I picked up last Tuesday. If you guys know at all, I'm a huge fan of the Battlefield series, so I've been playing pretty much non-stop for the last week. And I want to play a lot just to be able to give you guys a really good review, because last time I played Battlefield 4 for like a couple nights, probably 10 hours in total. I reviewed it, I think I gave it like an 8 out of 10, and then the more I played it, the more I didn't like it, and the more I really think it probably deserved like a 6 out of 10. So this time I want to take a really much longer approach, kind of a slower approach, to really get what I feel is a better review out of the game. So with that being said, let's go in and just talk about how I feel about it. I'll just be going in through section, and talking about what I like and what I don't like. So first, let's talk about the big thing, which is the new setting, the new cops and robbers feel of the Battlefield series. So at first, when this was announced, I thought I really wasn't going to like it. I'm not a fan of like super unrealistic first-person shooters. I like my military first-person shooters to be realistic, or at least somewhat realistic. So when they announced the cops versus robbers thing, I kind of liked that it was different from a lot of other FPSs and what they're doing, but I wasn't really excited to see how it was going to play out. But now that I've played the game, I actually do really like it. Now, it's not completely realistic, and it's a little, out there, because obviously we haven't seen a lot of showdowns between these groups of criminals and cops in real life, but I like how they took out the machine guns, the heavy machine guns, they took out the tanks, they took out the jets, which is something I didn't think they were going to do, and because they did that, it definitely feels a little bit more realistic. And when I play this, it seems kind of grounded in reality, almost as much as Payday, and I can definitely sort of appreciate it. And I really like the new setting. I'm really tired of the same old Russian versus American Battlefield story, and this is really a great way to change it. And I really feel more in my role as like a cop or a criminal than I would as like a Russian soldier or as an American soldier, if that makes sense. So like, Payday is one of my favorite games. I love playing as like a criminal robbing banks. It's just fun, we all have fun, pretending to rob banks. So I really like the new setting, and I think they did a really good job with it, making it realistic, and I actually think it works good as a Battlefield game. I do think they missed out on some stuff on capitalizing on things like customization. Since it wasn't a traditional military shooter, I think you could have had a lot of customization with your character, especially on the criminal side of things. You could have pretty much worn whatever you wanted, and they could have had you unlock different outfits or whatever you want to call them, just like you can do in the new Call of Duties. And I think that would have worked really well, and something I really want to see Battlefield do. You can change, you have 3 different options. You can do like stealth, team spirit, and like flare or something like that, and you can choose between those 3 things of how your character looks. But other than that, there's really no customization for how your character looks, and I would love to see them do something like Call of Duty with like the head customization on what clothes you wear, on the criminal side and the cop side. And since this wasn't, like I said, a traditional military shooter, I really think they could have done that, and they just chose not to, and I think they really missed out on something there. Moving on from the setting, let's talk about the star of the game, in my opinion, which is the game mode. So we got 5 new game modes in this game, which is insane, really, because in like most FPSs, we get 1 new game mode, and usually it's not even good. It's just something that they get rid of the next game, they bring in a new one that doesn't work. But in this game, we have 5 new ones, and I'm really happy to say that they all work spectacularly. So I'm going to go through each one and tell you guys what I like about them. So first, we got Blood Money. Basically, there's this big stack of money in the middle of the map, and both teams are trying to steal from that and bring it back to their base. And then you can also go to someone's base and steal their money. So it's kind of like a complicated capture the flag, which is something I really liked from that Battlefield 4 DLC. So Blood Money works really well. There's definitely lots of combat and shootouts in that match, and I really think it works good with the infantry combat. Next, we have Hotwire, which is by far the best game mode in this game and my personal favorite. If you guys don't know what Hotwire is, each car is its own cap point, and you can capture the points or the cars by driving around in them. So basically what it creates is these car shootouts and car chases like in an action movie or something like that, and it's so awesome. I can't even describe the feeling of leaning out a car window with your buddies and shooting the driver of another car as you drive past him with an Uzi. It's so great, and it's something I really haven't experienced in a first-person shooter yet. It's by far the best game mode in this game, and I would go as far as to say it's the best game mode that I've seen in a Battlefield game to date, which is a huge statement, but it really is the best thing I've seen in a Battlefield game. It is so fun. I can't even tell you guys how much I've been playing this and how much I've been loving it. It is by far the best game mode, and it really does just create car chases, really innovative, and in a genre where we get the same washed up game modes, it's really a breath of fresh air. Next, let's talk about Heist. Heist is for all you guys who like Payday or something like that. It really is kind of like a heist. The criminals are trying to get in, steal the money from a bank or something else on a different map, and they're trying to bring that to an extraction point, and the cops had to try to stop them. It's definitely not my favorite game mode, but it does work really well, and it's still really fun to play, and it has more of a traditional cops versus criminals feel to it, which I really like. Next, we have Crosshair and Rescue. I'm going to try to group these together just because they're sort of the 5-on-5 matches that are more hardcore. So it really plays out kind of like Counter-Strike. Rescue, the cops are trying to rescue these hostages and the criminals are trying to defend them. Again, a lot like Counter-Strike games. And then in Rescue, the cops are trying to escort a VIP and the criminals are trying to kill that VIP. So again, a lot like the Counter-Strike games, if you die, you're dead, and you have to wait till the next round. The rounds are out of 9, so it really plays out like a traditional hardcore shooter. It's definitely, Counter-Strike and other games like Insurgency do this better than Battlefield does, but it's cool to see it in a Battlefield game, and it's nice to be able to, use my guns from Battlefield and all my stats from Battlefield and play a more hardcore mode like this. So I kind of like that they introduced this, especially because it's not something we've seen in a Battlefield game, and I really like that they tried something new and tried out these game modes, and they are pretty fun and they do work out really well. So those are the 5 new game modes, guys. Other than that, we do have a couple others like Conquest Large, Conquest Small, Team Deathmatch. So overall, there are 8 game modes and 5 new ones, which is really good for a shooter, like I've said. So next, let's talk about the map design. So this game launched with 9 maps, and I really do like all of them. The map design in this game is stellar, and although there's not a lot of maps, it definitely makes up for it in the quality of the maps. So no 2 maps feel the same. There's not even the layout or the look of them. Like in past Battlefield games like Battlefield 4 and Battlefield 3, I thought some of them looked kind of familiar, especially the DLC maps. The same sort of outdoor feel that each of those had. I really think that Battlefield Hardline did a good job. Some of them are at night, some of them are during day, and none of them feel the same at all. Also, none of the maps have huge choke points where it's just massive battles, especially when you get 32 on 32 matches. It doesn't have that, and all the maps seem to really just flow really nicely. Other than that, I really like how not every map is for every game mode, which is something that a lot of people have not liked about Battlefield, me including, which is that they would have game modes that really don't work with certain maps, and they would just kind of leave it up to the community to decide what works good. Well, they changed that in Battlefield Hardline, and not every game mode is for every map, so you can't play Hotwire on every map, and you can't play, Blood Money on every map, and it really depends on which map you're playing, which game mode you play. And I think that it works out really good. One, because the maps are really well designed for each game mode because they're not trying to tailor for every game mode. And also, two, because you're not getting into a team deathmatch on a map that it doesn't work for, and it's just kind of a really sucky layout of the map, and it's not meant for close quarter team deathmatch action, and you end up just having a bad experience overall. That is changed in this game, and I'm really happy about that. And I really think they finally did a good job of changing the whole system of where you could just, play any game mode on any map, and I like how that's changed in this game. Moving on, let's just talk about the combat as a whole. So as you guys know, Battlefield 4 had a lot of problems with its combat, especially in like the netcode and the programming and stuff. I'm happy to say that that's all gone. The gameplay feels really solid. The combat feels really solid. Absolutely no netcode problems. A couple bugs here and there, but nothing that I've noticed that's really a big deal at all. The lack of vehicles, I really didn't notice. I like infantry more in Battlefield anyway. This game is definitely more infantry focused, definitely more fast paced, and definitely, I would say in a way, more team oriented because of that. And I definitely like it a lot more than even like the huge games in Battlefield with the tanks and stuff. I really think if you like infantry, this is the perfect Battlefield game for you, and I'm really loving it a lot. There are still vehicles like armored SUVs, there are like cop cars, muscle cars, but there aren't those huge jets. There are helicopters, but most of them are transport copters. So if you guys like infantry combat, you're not just going to get blown up from something way above you that you couldn't even take down if you wanted to, which I really like. So if you like infantry, like I said, this is the perfect Battlefield game for you. Next, let's talk about the progression. So I really like the money unlock system. What it is you don't unlock guns by your rank. You earn money as you play, and you get to buy the weapons that you want. It doesn't matter which order you want. And I really like this. I think it's something that the last Call of Duty did that I liked. And I think it's a really good system because you don't have to just keep going to get the gun you want. You can just work harder to get the money and then spend it then and get that gun. Now, one problem I have with this system is that it's really easy to earn money through Hotwire, but really hard to earn it through other game modes, and it's really not balanced at all. By far, the easiest way to earn money is just by driving around in Hotwire, so I think that needs to be changed a little bit so it's more equal and you don't just have to play Hotwire in order to earn a lot of money. But other than that, guys, I really do like the progression system. I like how when you use a gun, you get all the attachments for it as you go along. I really like that, and I think it's just a great progression system in total, so I really like the progression in this game. And I like how they changed it to the money system. So let's just go over the few things that I don't like about this game, and that would be that there's not enough customization. I think they really missed out on that. I don't think they changed as much as I wanted them to. I really wanted like an in and out animation for getting to vehicles and all that kind of stuff. I think they still missed out on some really small things that they could have changed. And other than that, I really don't have that many complaints. I think they did a really good job. Just really some small nitpicky things, but I really like the things they did change, and they did even change some small things like the mini-map and stuff that I really love. So overall, guys, I really love this game. It really brought me back into first-person competitive shooters, which I kind of have been feeling kind of done with, especially with Call of Duty and stuff. And it's really breathed new life into the series after the terrible release and terrible kind of game of Battlefield 4. So I think they did a really good job. Overall, I think this game really deserves to be in the Battlefield series, which again, I couldn't say for Battlefield 4. I really could see them making a Battlefield Hardline 2. I think it earned its place just as much as Bad Company or anything like that in the Battlefield series. So overall, guys, I give this game an 8.5 out of 10. Really solid release. If any of you guys want to play with me, just hit me up on Origin. It's White Fox 1225. Then we can play together sometime, because this game is way more fun to play with other people. So thank you guys for watching. I'll probably be making more videos on Hardline in the future. Thank you guys for watching again, and I'll see you in the next one.